fine tuner is bottomed out. Whatever am I going to do? Well, I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to tune your fiddle. Hey everybody, it's Lucas Welsh here, and today we're just going to give you a couple quick tips on tuning your violin or your fiddle, whichever you want to call it. And we're going to start out with this age-old problem. You need a little bit more going up, and your fine tuner is bottomed right out. Okay? Now, I mean, the only way that you can do this is to back this off and go to your pegs. And I know, oh my goodness, not the pegs. We don't want to touch the pegs. Our teacher has told us not to touch the pegs. And if your teacher's told you not to touch the pegs, he has a good reason. He or she has a good reason for doing that. You're not ready to tune on your own yet, okay? But for those of you that are struggling with tuning and whatnot, the biggest problem that makes people struggle with tuning is their pegs are not adjusted properly to their violin, okay? So if your pegs are super tight or they're not fitting, they're not holding tune, you gotta like ram them in and you've got rosin caked on there and all sorts of stuff, you probably should take your fiddle to, a qualified luthier and have them do a setup. It's not very expensive, and all that they do is they take little tools. I don't have my tools out right now, but they'll take like a special tool that'll go into the hole and just ream that hole out a little bit, or they'll take your pegs and they'll shave them with like a pencil shaver kind of a thing. Okay, it's not a big deal. Sometimes if your pegs are sticking just a little bit, a product like this Hill Peg Compost, not compost, it says composition on it, but Hill Peg Paste, that's a mouthful. That's a good thing, and I put that on whenever I put a set of fresh pegs in a violin. I lube them up with a little bit of Hill compound, okay? So, you've got your fiddle, you've backed off the fine tuners. If there's more than one, you might as well do it all in one shot, okay? Now, what you're going to need is you're going to need a reference pitch, okay? And that can be a pitchfork, a pitch pipe. I guess they call these tuning forks, not pitchforks. But anyway, you know what I mean. Or you can get an app on your tuner. You can get an actual tuner. There's any number of ways of getting a reference note. Even go to the piano and hit that A. You just want to make sure that whatever reference you're using is at a 440 hertz. Okay? And there's a whole, scientific thing behind the hertz thing, but all you need to know is 440. Okay? So if you got a tuner, like an electronic tuner, make sure that you have that set on an A440, because a lot of times they'll have an option. They go 358 or 342, whatever it be. Okay? Anyway, you've got that out. I'm going to strike my tuning fork, and I'm going to check my A. Now, I just fine-tuned a little bit. I'm just plucking because I want to get it close. And then I'm going to fine-tune it with the bow and everything. Okay, now that E string, I know is way loose. So these pegs are fit nice, but if they were a little sticky, I'd want to grab it up here, pluck, let it ring, and then tune. Now I'm actually a little bit sharp. I can hear that because my ears have been so trained. Oh, I wasn't sharp. Now I'm sharp. There I go. We're going to say I'm all trained up, and then now I'm in tune. Okay? I've got room on my fine tuners to go up, but I don't have a lot of room to go down. So what I often tell people, we've been trained to tune up as close as we can with these fine tuners, or with the pegs, I mean, and then go to the fine tuners to do our fine adjustments up. But if we start thinking just a little bit the opposite way, go just a shade past where you need to be for in tune with your pegs, then you can tune back. Okay? That's going to do a couple things for you, and we'll talk more about that in another video. But for right now, that's the basics. Your violin is in tune. You can check it now with a bow and make any fine adjustments that you may want to. Cheers.